Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot. So this is going to be our weekly read from April 6th through the 12th. Now, before we get started though, I just wanted to say and send out a huge thank you guys to each and every one of you. Seriously, I feel so blessed to feel all your love and support when you guys, in all the ways that you support this channel, and truly, this channel would not be what it is without each and every one of you. So thank you guys so much. I love you back. Now, to come into this week, we are greeted on the 6th with the Sun in Aries being sextile with Jupiter, which is currently in Gemini. And so this brings opportunities for growth and opens doors, particularly in the areas of social circles as well as career. And it gives us a more optimistic and adventurous outlook in pursuing our passions. So you could see very well that doors open in career advancement, or in particular as well, new projects that involve collaborations or cooperation. And more importantly here, you may very well find yourself within these networking aspects and opportunities, these open doors, that basically finds you in a place where you're connecting with a wider range of people. And it gives you a bold optimism as well as a curiosity for expansion, particularly when it comes to pursuing your passions. Now on the 7th, oh my goodness, I am very happy to say Mercury, which is in Pisces, also goes direct. I know, I'm just saying, just saying. And with Mercury going direct on the 7th, it gives us a renewed focus as well as clarity. Now is the time to trust your instincts, trust your gut, and more importantly, tap into that energy when Mercury goes direct in Pisces, because it'll really help you with moving forward. It gives us that confidence to move forward, particularly when it comes to making our decisions, making tough decisions, and more importantly, trusting our inner wisdom, trusting our intuition and our gut with making those decisions confidently, so that we don't spend time looking back, and more importantly, we charge forward with our confidence. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because walking into this week here energetically with the tarot, we have the Ace of Swords. This is all about standing in your power. It's all about owning and valuing your potential, and brings open doors of new ideas, new creativities, but it's also new challenges, decisions, but the courage to make those decisions that really lead you and set you up for enduring prosperity as well as success. There's a lot of Aquarian energy, there's Piscean energy, and then there's also that Capricorn energy here too. But it speaks quite a bit to aligning with your crown. And as you can see, I mean, the sword, it's waiting for you. It's got the crown here, and Spirit is just handing it to you at this time, which is just beautiful. I'm just saying. Now, in the past, if you could, and even now too, you could be dealing with a lot of options. You could also be seeing a lot of creativity. You've got a lot of ideas that you've got, kind of up in the air right now, not sure which one to pursue. This is really about trusting again, trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, trusting in the divine, in that hidden wisdom that'll guide you to the right choice. And you'll know, you'll feel it. You'll feel that contentment when you make the right decision. And it'll lead you away from feeling that entrapment that you had been feeling in the past. This leads you towards the stability, towards the prosperity, but also too towards your justice. This is where you're getting yourself unstuck. Could have been dealing with a Taurus or a Geminian energy here as well. But more importantly, what I see is that you're embracing that hidden wisdom with the Scorpionic energy. You're standing your ground. You're utilizing your discernment and seeing where there's misrepresentation, as well as potential areas of failures, betrayals. Also, too, looking at unfair advantages that are surrounding your situation or the chaos. And more importantly, you're tapping into the past wisdoms where you've learned from those deceits, you've learned from those defeats, and you're letting it basically guide you with that inner wisdom so that you're better prepared moving forward. And this is again with that scorpionic energy, embracing the solar energy of the sun, the strength of the sun, to find that balance, to find that symmetry, and also too to look for and call in the relationships that truly present a harmony in opposites as well as reciprocity. But this is really embracing your sacral chakra. This is standing in your creativity, allowing yourself to grieve for when things end, but more importantly, to learn to use the past as a tool to bring yourself forward, to drive yourself forward with that wisdom. And with Mercury swimming through our 7th house at the moment, in Pisces no less as well, this is where it's affecting, more importantly, our relationships. And so if you've been focusing on, overindulgence lately, or looking at things where it's more of a material focus as opposed to an enlightened focus, and you're looking at those deceits where they've possibly taken advantages away from you when it comes to material aspects, material securities, caused your throat chakra to close or misalign because of it, this is where you're enabled to really stand in your truth, valuing yourself, your integrities, your desires, your hopes, your wishes, and pulling that back into the center of your actions so that you can move forward with confidence. Now, interestingly enough, with Mercury moving direct in our 7th house, you may also feel that one-on-one interactions at this time feel eerily familiar. So you could meet somebody new and feel like you've known them your entire life. You could also experience synchronicities and DeJa'Vu's during this time as well. That is the sign. Those are the signs to really pay attention to walk forward with your mind's eye open. In fact, too, you could meet, like I say, or have, meet somebody new and feel like you've known them in your entire life, but also to have conversations and swear that when it's all said and done, you've said it all before. And so these are all signs that tie back to past life connections, karmic cycles, missed signals, unfinished business. And so when Mercury goes direct on the 7th, it allows all of these aspects to finally come full circle, and more importantly, to close out what needs to be closed, and more importantly, release and learn from those karmic lessons, pay those dues, come full circle with them so that you can walk forward with trusting your instincts, walking forward with confidence, but more importantly, utilizing that inner wisdom, that inner guidance that supersedes any type of fear where wishes wishes don't come true, or fears of failure, I guess is how I would put it. Now, on the 8th, Venus, which is also in Pisces, is going to be sextile with Uranus, which is currently in Taurus. And so this is an energy that shakes up the status quo. Expect the unexpected. It brings unexpected shifts, particularly when it comes to values and relationships. It urges us to move away from the routine, move away from accepting less than what you deserve, move away from people-pleasing and sacrificing, self-sabotaging aspects. And it enables us to really move forward the relationships and lifestyle that we truly strive for, that truly aligns with our values and desires, with a more free-spirited approach, with our heart as light as a feather. And this is where you're manifesting. This is the place where you're constructing, you're building, you're standing as a creative master in your self-mastery and the gifts that you currently have, that you've worked for, and more importantly, that align with your purpose and your calling. And this is where Spirit is confirming everything is ready. Now is the time to manifest your plans and ideas. Put them into practice, particularly when it comes to relationships, career advancements, new projects, connecting in a collaborative place that allows you to be stronger and lift each other up with success, towards success. Now, during this time as well, on the 8th, the moon is going to be in Virgo. And so it really helps us with grounding our emotions, but more importantly, it helps us ground in our resolve, in our commitments, to help us bring order to our lives. And in volatile situations, in times of chaos, in times of emotional insecurity aspects or upheavals, it gives us the composure to analyze situations before reacting impulsively. And so it gives us the opportunity to really look at the situations at hand, look at the short-term solutions as well as the long-term, make sure that they're aligned so that we can properly and confidently respond rather than react. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart, share your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm just saying I'm looking forward to it. And I'm very much looking forward to Mercury going direct. I'm sure you can't tell. But either way, on April 9th, the moon is also going to be square with Jupiter. So I do want to forewarn you, this can manifest in a tendency to overthink as well as get stuck in that never-ending critique of perfectionism. And so this is the time to really look at the commercial success, not be afraid of when things aren't exactly perfect, but instead to shine, to put yourself out there, and more importantly, channel that flexibility, channel your adaptability, and keep communication open rather than shut down to avoid feeling overwhelmed, as well as to avoid experiencing any type of anxiety in what you're trying to do. That way you don't react, but instead you respond and you walk forward with confidence, with making decisions without worrying about looking back or what if, or worrying about what if as the worst to happen, but instead walk forward with the best intentions of what's the best that can happen out of this, and holding that energy in your decisions, in your movement. And this is where Spirit is really saying you are one step away from success. Now is the time to resolve in your commitments, to resolve in the commitments you make that help bring order to your life. And more importantly, to not be afraid of exploring new territories, to not be afraid of finding that synthesis, that balance, and also the dynamic embracement of the positive and the negative that leads to growth, that helps you think outside the box. Because, right, we only know what we know. Exploring the unforeseen, exploring the unknown allows us to really look at those new opportunities and see different ways that we can apply them. This is where Spirit is giving you foresight. They're giving you another cup for your foundation that will lead to success, that will lead to stability, so that you stop looking at the past of what didn't work in the past, the hidden shadows of the fear that keep you away from exploring your future and basically keep you resolved in the past, and more importantly, help you with your bravery with charging forward. Again, this is Capricorn energy. It's got a lot of action behind it. There's also the Aquarian energy. It's about holding that vision. You could also be dealing with those signs too when it comes to collaborative investments. But really what it speaks to as well with that solar plexus is the confidence in knowing that you are strong, and more importantly, that you are enough. You always have been, and you always will be. Now, on the 10th as well, the moon is going to be moving into Libra. And so this week is all about balance and all about direct movement, forward movement, and leveling up. And so with the moon in Libra, it tends to influence us so that we strive more for balance, for harmony, and then also for fairness. It pushes our desires and our actions towards a more diplomatic approach, and it also helps us with really being focused on mutual beneficial approaches and collaborations. It helps us temper that critical perfectionism that leads towards stagnancy or self-sabotage, and it helps us instead look at the lemons and turn them into lemonade. It helps us see the situations at hand for the positives that they bring rather than for the negatives. And that goes with people as well. But mostly what the moon in Libra actually does for us is it really helps us and encourages us to look at things with an open-minded approach, a diplomatic approach to start problem solving in a way that looks at win-win solutions, so that there's not really necessarily a cost where somebody loses, but instead where everybody benefits. And in order to do that, it's about creating that safe space, right? Where you can be heard as well as be listened to be open to receiving the concerns of others as well as the ideas and how to solve them, but more importantly, puts us in a reflection piece that takes that piece of the past that's conflict, or the piece of the issue that's more of a problem that's not working, and looks at other ways, other approaches that we can go and come at this situation so that everybody benefits from it rather than having to shortcome somebody. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, put a heart, share your thoughts in the comments below, because what I see here is that during this time when the moon goes into Libra, this is where you are coming at situations with problem solving, utilizing your wit, utilizing your energy, your ambition, but also utilizing your throat chakra, utilizing your cleverness as well as your ability to think outside the box, and analyze the situation so that you can respond, not react. And more importantly, focus on ethical, fair justice that's meant for everyone, not just for the top 1%, if you will. And so during this time as well, this is also a really good time to watch aspects like people pleasing, especially being Virgos. We're a sign of service, and so a lot of our weaknesses tend to be sacrificing our own needs for the sake of others, avoiding conflict for the sake of others, right? This instead gives us the strength to seek solutions that promote fairness, promote equity, but it's through that safe, open communication that focuses on mutual support, building everyone up for success and creating solutions where everybody benefits, no matter the class, no matter the situation, no matter even to the have and the have-nots aspects of what people can bring to the table. And I mean that in a way of intelligence, emotional aspects, security aspects, and that goes across the gambit, whether it be character or assets that they have, right? Monetary or financial aspects, or even resources. And so on the 11th, the moon tends to be going into trine with Pluto. And Pluto, we are still in the age of Aquarius, right? And so this helps us with giving us an even deeper emotional understanding. And it provides an even more balanced approach for us and encourages us to walk and approach life through an increased focus on our relationships, our self-expression, so that we're also honoring ourselves, and personal transformation, looking outside the box, gaining new wisdoms, sharing new wisdoms, so that we can all rise up stronger together. It helps us express ourselves more authentically, and more importantly, it helps us foster a greater understanding of social issues that surround us. And it prompts us to contribute to how we can problem solve, so that we can contribute with win-win solutions to a positive change in the world. And this is really where you are going to be very valuable to others and to yourself at this time. This is where you're utilizing the skills of those wisdoms that you've learned along the way, right? You're utilizing the resources that are at your disposal quite wisely, and you're utilizing your expertise to find that direction that gets you from that point A to point B and helps you understand what you can do to manifest in the current situation, the current events that contribute towards positive change, that contribute towards those win-win solutions. And I am so happy to say as well, so not only does Mercury go direct on the 7th, but on the 12th, Venus also goes direct, and it's also in Pisces. Now, keep in mind with this retrograde from Venus, when it goes direct on the 12th, you'll still feel the shadow period through about mid-May. But with it being in Pisces, it's in its exaltation, or it's in a place where it can best express its qualities. And so for Virgos, you may very well experience a shift in your approach to relationships. It encourages us to be more compassionate as well as intuitive within our interactions. And this is, again, it's all about utilizing those skills. It's utilizing that discernment, utilizing your diligence. Also, too, education, not being afraid to learn what you don't know, and more importantly, stay focused on how you can apply that towards your goals that leads you again towards that mastery, leads you towards that place of security that puts you in a place that not only is of expertise, but where you can then become a mentor. It's that enduring success, right? And so at this time when Venus goes direct, you're all about the energy, really. It's for Virgos, it's all about focusing and honoring self-care. It allows us to understand at a deeper level our needs and our desires so that we can utilize our discernment and make sure that we're truly aligning with our values and with our goals. But more importantly, we're calling in, thank you, the lifestyle, the relationships that align with our values and our goals, rather than settling for feelings of entrapment or letting people take advantage of us and put us in a place where we're cornered or feel powerless or even feel like we're in poverty or in hardship. And instead, we utilize our discernment to position ourselves to stand in a place of fairness, to stand in a place of deserved outcomes. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. Share your thoughts in the comments below of what you're tackling when it comes to honoring yourself during this time when Venus goes direct. How you're honoring your inner wisdom, as well as how you're honoring your boundaries and your relationships. Because this is not only all about self-care, so it looks at, habits and choices that no longer serve us and allows us to really release those. But it also helps us with understanding basically in calling in healthy relationships by understanding and honoring boundaries, releasing unrealistic expectations, and it gives us a greater capacity instead for empathy, for compassion, and for inner wisdom, and for honoring that inner wisdom. But the best gift about Venus going direct, particularly when it's in Pisces for Virgos, is it helps us with recalibrating our inner compass so that we can better honor ourselves, honor our values, and honor our integrity. And I will also say, not only do we have Venus going direct on the 12th, but we also have a full moon in Libra. And so this is a point where if you had been really dealing with a lot of stress, seeing a lot of volatility around, a lot of chaos around, dealing with conflicts and really just experiencing an energetic aspect around you where there's more divisiveness rather than inclusivity. This is where the full moon in Libra is going to bring a spotlight to our relationships, both romantic and platonic, but also too from a business standpoint and on a self-care standpoint. How we talk to ourselves, how we honor ourselves, how we honor and talk to others, right? And this is about letting go. If you've been having to hold on, feeling like, I guess what I really look at it as is like the perspective of I have to versus I get to, or the aspects of volatility that lead us in a place of looking at loss or lack through the lens of fear, as opposed to looking at the resources, the assets that we truly do have that allow us to really focus on saving, focus on setting ourselves up for success and safeguarding, as opposed to being afraid of losing it all, right? And so with this full moon in Libra, it also helps us with being kinder to ourselves by reflecting and remembering just what we bring to the table. And so it helps us remember our strengths, our talents, our achievements, but also too the integrity of our character. It allows us to let go of negative self-talk. It allows us to let go of self-sabotaging behaviors and finally close those doors that are no longer serving us. But most importantly, it helps us to be a better ally to our own body, spirit, and mind. And this is a time where we find a better approach. It opens new doors where we can level up and find a better balanced approach to our lives, to our routines, as well as to our work-life balance. And especially for Virgos, I know work is our wheelhouse, but this is where it's all about finding that balance between our relationships, and then also to our creations, what we manifest, right, when it comes to work. Now, this full moon in Libra will also be spotlighting our second house, which focuses on our finances, as well as our self-worth and our values and our possessions. And so it encourages us to reevaluate spending habits and strengthen boundaries, as well as identify where you're overspending, where there's potentially a way or an avenue, an open door for saving. And it also, more importantly, by opening those doors, can allow us to come into a place where we're balanced with our discernment to make better choices, where we can feel like our best selves because we're in our wheelhouse of that balance, that grounding. And so this is a time, particularly when it comes to relationships that are focused and tied to our finances as well as our self-worth and values. If you were finding an unbalance in your relationships, unrequited love, dealing with conflict, disagreements, arguments, This is where you're really looking at that people pleasing. You're really looking at if people have, who you're calling your support circle. What interests do they really have? Are they in your best interest to really come to the table with them in your collaborative projects, particularly when it comes to your career advancement? Or is there some other alternative motive? Is there some, especially with past life connection aspects, is there some kind of karmic cycle that it's kind of more of a test to put them into your life, to allow them into your life? And this is really, with this full moon, the chance to look at, okay, have I learned my lesson? Have I paid my karmic debt so I can fully move forward with the relationships that I deserve, with the better choices that I deserve? And also to allow you to open the door towards that reciprocity, so that you can also give what you receive as well. And if that resonates, like I say, share your thoughts in the comments below, because what I'm seeing here during this Libran full moon is that this is the time where you are leveling up. This is where you're putting yourself in a place, you're setting yourself up for a success, where your desires not only will come true, but they can come true. This is about manifesting and attaining. And particularly when it comes to finances, self-worth, and values, it really helps us with looking at our long-term goals. So in a lot of ways, when I was meditating on this, interestingly enough, so true story, I woke up from a dream at 3:36 this morning, and it was a really intriguing dream. I didn't get to remember most of it, but the biggest thing that I woke up with was the Pisces is an illusionist. The Libran has your foundation, has your back, has your support, and will support you. And so this full moon, it really spoke to me in this reading as I was meditating on the astrology. And so especially with it spotlighting your second house of finances, this allows us to level up in ways of looking at assets versus liabilities. And so for me, it first brings up the thought of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, amazing book, especially if you look into and believe and really follow a debt-based society with how you manage your finances. However, for me, it really speaks to me, the idea of assets versus liabilities really speaks to me more in the idea of modern monetization theory. And so when you look at aspects like what they call in the U.S. as the U.S. deficit, well, really, the Treasury can print money at any time, right? That deficit is actually our income. Whenever there's the red on one side of an accounting balance sheet, there's always the black. The people own that deficit. It's actually our investment through our bonds, right? It's just how you look at it. It's the I get to versus I have to perspectives. It's the lack versus do I have enough, and really approaching how you consider your assets versus liabilities. And so looking at those, especially right now where we've got the stock market kind of in an interesting flux, we've got tariffs at hand and a lot of world conflict, a lot of volatility going on with our relationships, country to country, and how we work together when it comes to looking at supply and demand and our resource structures and how we share, how we work together. This allows you to really look at your finances where you can set yourself up for success, where you can identify areas of assets versus liabilities. Look at how you can strengthen those boundaries to not only weather the storm, but also not only set yourself up for success, but find a way to set yourself up for success that not only makes you and your family very comfortable, but allows you to pay it forward as well, allows you to give back to the community as well. Find those win-win solutions that are promoting fairness, equity, mutual support, and contribution that invoke positive change towards the world, towards our world affairs. And if that resonates, like I say, I'm just saying, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get this message out to as many Virgos as we can, because this is where standing in the King of Cups energy is going to be so important. Coming at these aspects with problem solving that utilizes our rationality as well as keeps our emotions in balance, keeps our emotions grounded, allows us to use our emotional intelligence, that really allows us to step into the seat of a wise and caring, emotionally intelligent friend and leader. Now, another aspect as well, as I was looking at this, assets versus liabilities, excuse me, I don't know why I can't talk, is also look at how you can safeguard things during times of volatility so that you not only can weather that storm, but like I say, set yourself up for enduring success, especially when things move quite rapidly, when there's a lot of change that we're surrounded by. And so looking at the idea of really practicing an assessment or safeguarding on your stocks versus your bonds. Looking at the idea of the age split and what I mean by that and how you allocate them. And so what I mean by that is, say, as an example, if you're 33 years old, round down to the nearest 10, so that would be 30, subtract 10, now you know that 20-80 split is what you can play around with and what we would consider a high risk investment, where you're investing 80 in stocks, 20 in bonds. Now, say you get older, you're looking more towards retirement, right? So say you're 64. So you're going to round back down to 60 minus 10. That's a 50-50 split between your stocks and your bond allocations. But it allows you to really safeguard your retirement, safeguard your assets. Things like looking at investing in your HSA or a health savings account rather than utilizing flex accounts. That way you're not restricted based on time, but also too, you're able to invest that, lock it in as a retirement savings account for your health. So that you can actually even earn some money along the way as it is as well. Looking at small banks versus big banks, particularly for the reasonings of when you look at your portfolio, diversifying it enough under and making sure that it's still fitting under and maximizing on how much of it is federally insured, so that if things tank, you're good, right? And that's what this full moon in Libra is going to really prompt us to start focusing on. How we can look at those finances, the self-worth, our values versus, or our assets versus our liabilities, and let go or minimize the liabilities, pay down your debt, get rid of it altogether, like I say, or look at how you can watch your spending so that you're spending and living within your means rather than having somebody else make money off of your cost of living, right? Through interest, through borrowing, through that debt-based society. And like I say, that's where I tend to manage my finances a little bit differently than debt-based societies. But I just firmly believe that in a debt-based society, we're pre-programmed, we're conditioned to think that our credit score, our lending capacity so that we can get further into debt is a good thing. And instead, I believe that really living within your means, being frugal, saving, looking at those liabilities versus assets, minimizing your debt exposure, enables you to have a better, not only set yourself up for a better stability, financial security, but it gives you that financial freedom. And this is the time, like I say, where you are not only encompassed and encountering DeJa'Vu's, synchronicities with those past life connections, those missed signals, that unfinished business coming full circle, but you're basically also encountering an opportunity that allows you to level up. And it's through that experience as the hermit. It's looking at mentorship from somebody wiser in things that you don't know. Also sharing that wisdom, paying it forward, seeking consultation, as well as allowing consultation with others, giving consultation to others that promotes illumination on the unknown, that allows us to all find win-win solutions that helps each other, helps us all rise up together against volatilities, right? Against insecurities and against unknowns. And like I say, if that resonates, by all means, share your thoughts, put a heart in the comments below. Now, I do just want to get a few additional messages here before we go from our spirit animal totems. And so, Spirit, what additional messages, what wisdom can you help us, especially this week, thank you, with Mercury and with Venus going direct and the full moon hitting us in Libra? Oh gosh, this is gorgeous. Okay. So first things first, we've got the humpback whale as the singer. This is the time to open that throat chakra. Trust your inner navigation because it will always guide you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goals. What comes to mind whenever I get the humpback whale is that nothing that's ever taken from you will ever pass you by, right? What's meant for you will always find a way of coming back full circle, coming back fully to its rightful owner. And so in the short run of things, people may have tried to deceive you, get one over on you, take things from you, have you miss or cause you to miss opportunities or set you up for failure. Spirit has a funny way, the divine has a funny way, the universe has a funny way of bringing things back full circle to their rightful owner. That's what Spirit is reminding you right now. Now is the time to align with your purpose and the power in your soul, because nothing can stop you or keep you from what's meant for you. And what's meant for you is abundance. With the Bison, this is all about cloaking yourself in the wisdom that you've learned. This is about filling your life with goodness, teaching the way of gratitude and prayer, but living your life as the ambassador of gratitude and prayer so that you can weather the storms and, more importantly, rise in your vibrancy, because you were born to shine as the peacock. This is about practicing humility to avoid jealousy, practicing gratitude for all things that come in life, even the challenges, because they make you stronger, they help you grow, they help give you that life lesson, right? But more importantly, to recognize your brilliance and to remain true to yourself and to the faith that good things will come. Good things are meant for you, and that is your abundance, I'm just saying. And then for anyone that is struggling with any type of blockages with chakras, music and color therapy are extremely helpful with opening that energy up and, more importantly, detoxifying any type of pent-up negative energy that's caused any type of closures in those chakras or misalignments. And so what really speaks to me right in here now is the crown. This is about uniting with the divine and allowing yourself to step in those fool's shoes, but step in those fool's shoes with the wise part of who you are and acknowledging just how much you have, the unlimited potential that you have within you and that you have placed around you. And with the Magician here as well, it really speaks to the fact that everything truly is ready. Everything is ready for you to manifest. There should be nothing holding you back at this point as long as you're ready to move forward, particularly with Mercury and with Venus going direct. And then, like I say as well, with that full moon in Libra helping us level up. But color therapy wise, we pulled yellow. So it really taps into that strength of the sun, the strength of that solar plexus, and really knowing that we are strong and that we are capable. But more importantly, we can also embrace that rebellious nature within us to use it to inspire us to take action. And then we also pulled the E for the music therapy piece. And so try playing around with that chord progression as you do your meditations this week. Too, as a reminder, drink plenty of water. That way you can help with that energy flow once you get those chakras realigned. Detoxify any negative, self-sabotaging energy. Reinvigorate yourself with that unlimited potential, that renewed focus and clarity. And I will just say, I am so grateful for each and every one of you guys. So if this message resonated, by all means, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps to build the channel. But more importantly, this channel would not be what it is. It would not be growing the way that it is without each and every one of you. And so thank you guys so much for making me feel so blessed. I feel seriously so speechless every time I think about how much love I receive from you guys. And I truly love you back. I am sending all my love and light to you this week. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.